Sometimes I feel like simulators are the best way to live 100 different lives at once, and today I'll show you 20 new games where you can be anyone, from a pilot to an oil rig worker in the middle of a storm. Aces of Thunder takes shape as one of the year's most promising simulation experiences, especially if you're the kind of player who lives for authentic cockpits and the raw personality of old warbirds. This flight combat simulator leans fully into realism, placing you inside meticulously recreated WWI and WWL's aircraft, from iconic Spitfires and BF-10-9s to IL-2s, P-51 Mustangs, and a broader roster of legendary machines. Every flight model, every damage calculation, every gauge inside those detailed cockpits works toward capturing the sensation of flying a real vintage fighter in historically grounded theaters of war. The game supports full VR through PSVR 2 for those who want total immersion, but it also includes a traditional flat-screen mode so you can experience the skies without strapping on a headset. A single-player campaign sits alongside online multiplayer modes, allowing you to battle pilots around the world or take on historical missions on your own terms.
We've taken casualties and several ships are burning.
Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2 delivers a surprisingly deep and relaxing fishing simulation, giving players access to lakes, rivers, and coastal waters scattered across the world. More than 60 species of fish populate these environments, everything from small roach to enormous tiger sharks, each reacting authentically to weather, water conditions, and your technique. The game supports a wide variety of fishing styles, including float, bottom, spinning, and casting, and even includes an underwater camera mode that lets you watch fish behavior up close. You can choose how you want to play: normal mode for progression, sandbox with everything unlocked, or realistic mode that removes assists for a true challenge. Whether fishing solo or joining others in multiplayer, you can take part in tournaments, complete daily quests, or simply enjoy peaceful sessions before displaying your best catches in a dedicated trophy room.
Your way.
We Harvest Shadows is still deep in development with no finalized release date, but its concept already feels strikingly unique. The game is described as a first-person farming horror allegory, placing you in the role of someone who abandons city life and retreats to a lonely, decaying farm far from civilization. By day, you repair the house, tend livestock, explore the surrounding land, and perform the quiet, almost meditative tasks of rural living. But when night arrives, that peaceful isolation twists into something unnerving. The experience leans towards psychological dread, mysterious occurrences, and atmospheric tension rather than cheap jump scares. Recent updates from the developer emphasize that the project is being polished carefully, with time spent refining its mood, fixing bugs, and ensuring every detail contributes to the unsettling tone they want players to feel when the sun goes down.
Maybe it's because the nights here feel unsettling, like the things you've lost. I've decided that this abandoned farm will be the place. I'm just so tired of feeling tired. The only thing
Riot Control Simulator explores a darker, more tactical side of simulation gameplay, beginning with a free prologue titled Riot Control Simulator. Rookie Day, released on May 21st, 2025. In this intro chapter, you step into the boots of a rookie officer placed inside a tense, small-scale riot scenario, the kind of chaotic unrest that can break out after a heated football match. Your job is to manage the crowd, de-escalate violence, and keep the situation from spiraling, all while learning the basics of riot control techniques. The full game is expected to launch on PC in the second half of 2025, with console versions planned for 2026. Once it arrives, players will handle larger maps and full-scale riots with water cannons, vehicles, tactical squad orders, strategic crowd control tools, arrests, and moral decision-making woven into a story mode. It aims to recreate the intense pressure of real-world unrest, where strategy, timing, and judgment matter more than brute force.
Snap, good to have you back.
Good to be back, Jenkins.
Get off me!
Hunting Simulator 3 continues the series with a next-gen approach created by Nacon Studio Ghent, promising a more immersive and realistic hunting adventure than ever before. Players roam expansive open-world environments, on foot or driving off-road vehicles, tracking wildlife across ecosystems that react dynamically to weather, time, and your actions. You can hunt alongside a dog or join another player in co-op, adding teamwork to the experience. One of the game's standout additions is the new Sim Fauna system. Animals behave naturally, aging, reproducing, responding to disturbances, and living within a fully simulated ecosystem. This transforms wildlife from static targets into a believable, evolving population. More than 40 species inhabit these landscapes, accompanied by licensed real-world gear and weapons from recognizable brands. One Move Away remains a mysterious and frustratingly elusive project, a title that simply hasn't left enough of a trace in the public space to confirm where it stands today. Despite digging through every reliable channel in the last year, there's been no substantial new information, no confirmed release date, and no visible development updates strong enough to indicate active progress. Right now, it sits in that uncomfortable gray zone many small or indie projects fall into. Still possibly in development, possibly delayed, or perhaps quietly shelved without an official statement. With no recent announcements, no clear communications, and no solid coverage, its future feels uncertain. Until the developers come forward with something concrete, the most realistic expectation is to treat One Move Away as a project on the back burner. A title that might resurface one day or might simply fade into obscurity.
I'm there before the setting sun, for you to fall into.
Demolish Build 3, which released on September 11th, 2024, puts you in charge of your own demolition company, giving you the freedom to tear down and rebuild structures with an impressive sense of physical realism. You take on contracts ranging from simple jobs to more complex operations, using everything from handheld tools like sledgehammers to heavy machinery such as excavators, bulldozers, and skid steers. Buildings crumble based on a full physics-driven destruction model, remove load-bearing elements, and watch entire structures collapse realistically, with debris reacting naturally as the environment gives way. That satisfying interplay of force and physics becomes the core of the experience. As your business grows, so does your capability. You can purchase new machinery, expand your toolset, and move on to larger, more challenging assignments. Ride 6 emerges as the next generation of motorcycle racing, officially announced in November 2025 and gearing up for release on February 12, 2026, on PS5, Xbox, and PC, with early access available on February 9th for players who pre-order. The game arrives with an enormous roster of over 340 motorcycles from 21 different manufacturers, spanning everything from classic sport bikes to baggers, maxi enduros, and modern machines across a wide spectrum of riding styles. With 45 tracks, an assortment of both real-world circuits and fictional creations, Ride 6 expands the franchise's scope, introducing off-road racing for the first time so players aren't confined to asphalt alone. Two distinct riding styles shape the experience: an accessible arcade mode that lets newcomers jump right in, and a pro mode designed for full simulation realism, where physics and precision rule. All Will Fall sets out to build a post-apocalyptic city builder unlike anything in the genre, a tense survival experience where every structure in your settlement is vulnerable to collapse if you design carelessly. You begin on a tiny patch of land, in some scenarios even just a small boat floating in an ocean-dominated world, and must construct a vertical, floating community that resists storms, rising seas, and the severe structural stress that constantly threatens to bring everything down. It's as though you're playing an immense, high-stakes version of Jenga with the last remnants of civilization. The game blends survival management with exploration, resource gathering, moral decision-making, and the pressures of keeping your people alive in a hostile environment.
City up to the sky. It was not easy, for the resources were scarce. But as the city grew, so did our leader's power, and his heart paid the price. His decisions led to a catastrophe. But we will...
City Car Driving 2.0 continues a long-standing tradition of realistic driving simulation, aiming to reproduce the real-world experience of being behind the wheel with meticulous attention to physics, traffic rules, weather systems, and varied environments including cities, roads, and forest areas. It leans into both educational and simulation territory, functioning partly as a learning tool for new drivers while still offering enough fidelity to satisfy simulation enthusiasts. However, the project has recently faced delays. The developers announced that the release has been pushed to April 2026, explaining that core systems, including the traffic simulation, environmental scaling, and foundational mechanics, require more time to meet their ambitious standards. They're unwilling to compromise or cut corners, choosing instead to refine the underlying systems until they fully match their vision. Road Trucker's New Beginning sets itself apart from traditional trucking sims by embracing the identity of a full-fledged trucking RPG. The story unfolds in Vale Rico, a fictional region inspired by South America, where your job behind the wheel becomes part of a larger mission to restore a worn-down world. Every delivery you make becomes a transformative act. Rebuild a town's infrastructure, revive abandoned storefronts, breathe life back into communities that have fallen into decay. You're not limited to the driver's seat either. You step out of your truck, walk the streets, visit shops, interact with locals, and manage your character's basic needs like sleep, hunger, and even injuries. Your truck becomes an extension of yourself, offering deep customization from engine and suspension tweaks to exterior paintwork and interior details, allowing you to shape the machine that will carry you across the land.
Fix you a truck. You're capable. You love trucks. So I convince people to fix you a truck. You're capable.
Oil Rig Simulator shifts the perspective from land-based work to life perched above an unpredictable sea, offering a blend of immersive first-person experience, management strategy, and harsh maritime survival. You run a fully functioning offshore oil platform, operating equipment, overseeing extraction, performing repairs, coordinating with your crew, and confronting the constant pressure of maintaining safety in a dangerous environment. The rig itself becomes your world, a place where your decisions ripple across every system, from resource management to emergency responses. The ocean surrounding you is far from passive. Fierce weather, unstable conditions, and sudden hazards challenge your leadership and test the stability of your entire operation. Because the game is fully first-person, you experience the cold metal corridors, the engine vibrations, the wind tearing across the platform, and the tension of crisis situations from a deeply personal viewpoint. WitchBrook invites you into a warm and magical life sim world set in the charming seaside town of Mossport, where you arrive as a student at a whimsical witch college. Here, everyday life becomes an enchanting blend of spell lessons, potion brewing, broom riding practice, and magical discovery. Beyond the walls of the academy, the town itself thrives. You build relationships with locals, explore seasonal events and festivals, develop friendships or romantic connections, and personalize your home to reflect your growing magical identity. The game blends cozy RPG, social sim, and town life elements with an emphasis on routine and exploration, presenting a living world where NPCs follow daily schedules and the environment changes with the seasons. Cities Skylines II follows in the footsteps of one of the most beloved city-building games ever created, releasing originally on PC in October 2023 and dramatically expanding the scale and complexity of its predecessor. With far larger map size limits, deeper population simulation, more detailed traffic and infrastructure systems, and expanded city management tools, the game pushes the genre into a more realistic, interconnected space. You still zone districts, manage utilities, build infrastructure, and implement policies, but all with a new level of fidelity, allowing your city to grow into a dense, believable ecosystem. Launching with major performance issues, it stumbled early, but the developers have spent the years since refining stability and enhancing systems. By late 2025, long-requested modding and asset creation tools finally arrived, giving players the ability to design custom buildings and props with advanced flexibility, from large plots to detailed placement tools. Starship Simulator remains one of the most ambitious space sandbox projects in development, aiming to recreate the Milky Way on a galactic scale using real astrophysics so that star systems, planets, and celestial bodies follow scientifically plausible rules instead of random sci-fi inventions. You explore freely among these stars aboard a Magellan-class deep space vessel, a ship designed with fully simulated internal systems, reactors, power distribution, life support, maintenance tasks, crew needs, and resource management all function like the inner workings of a real spacecraft. Mid-2025 brought significant progress in the form of Tech Demo 3, which introduced a redesigned ship interior, improved galaxy and star system generation, expanded sensor interactions, and even the first alien civilizations for players to encounter. Back to the Dawn stands as a fully released, story-driven RPG set within the harsh walls of a maximum security prison, offering a gritty and tightly woven narrative that adapts to your choices. You begin as one of two selectable protagonists, each dropped into a world ruled by factions, conspiracies, and the constant need to balance survival with long-term strategy. The pixel art style gives the prison a raw, moody atmosphere, while the gameplay revolves around navigating a complex social ecosystem, forging alliances, uncovering secrets, making enemies, and slowly piecing together an escape plan. Multiple endings ensure that every run feels different, shaped by your decisions, relationships, skills, and the escape route you choose.
The lies didn't stack up. They spilled over.
Starminer pushes the boundaries of the space sim genre by combining interstellar mining operations with strategic fleet management and looming cosmic danger. You command an expanding mining fleet, harvesting valuable minerals across the stars, while balancing your growing greed against the rising threat of hostile alien forces. Every new mining station or industrial platform you construct makes your presence louder in the galaxy, and therefore more vulnerable. To survive, you must build warships, deploy defensive platforms, and prepare your fleets for escalating encounters. Although originally scheduled for an early access debut in 2025, the developers announced a delay, choosing to refine the game's interconnected systems to ensure everything works seamlessly. Once it arrives, Starminer will feature sandbox, survival, and campaign modes, with a major highlight being the ability to share player-created space station blueprints.
And you must. Your mission is to build and navigate your fleet and mine asteroids, but don't attract too much attention, because who knows what might be lurking out there in the dark.
Glory to the Heroes is an ambitious tactical first-person shooter blending single-player and PvPvE gameplay while striving to capture the intensity and realism of modern warfare. It centers on combined arms combat, infantry, vehicles, artillery, and grounded tactical movement, all designed to reflect the unforgiving nature of real battlefields. Although the game has not yet released, players have been able to try a rotating pre-alpha demo that serves as a vertical slice of its vision, offering a limited set of maps and modes while showcasing the foundation the developers are building on. Early access is planned for the fourth quarter of 2025, though there's no confirmed full release date yet. The team emphasizes community-driven development, shaping the game's progression around player feedback and continuous iteration.
Сили ворога на нашому напрямку 2 БТГ 106-ї десантної дивізії. Сила відвага.
Bellwright blends medieval survival, settlement management, and RPG combat into a single sprawling experience centered on rebellion and redemption. You begin as someone falsely accused and left for dead, only to return stronger and determined to liberate the land from a tyrannical crown. You gather allies, build settlements from scratch, manage resources, and train villagers into capable workers or recruits to join your uprising. Combat mixes directional melee fighting with the ability to command your forces, giving you control over both personal skill and strategic decisions. Bellwright entered early access on April 23, 2024, and as of December 2025, the developers released a major expansion that introduced the Halmer Isles, a large new region that significantly enlarges the world. Vivaland was initially presented as a charming life simulation concept focused on collaborative town building for up to 8 players, where you and your friends would shape the lives of characters called Vivas, construct houses, run small businesses, and develop a thriving community. The vision promised a blend of creativity, social interaction, and cozy sandbox progression, with the freedom to build careers, manage farms, design shops, and form relationships within a growing town. However, the game currently shows no confirmed release date. The Steam page remains marked "to be announced," and development appears to have been stalled for an extended period. External financial issues surrounding the team and a long silence from the developers have led to widespread concern that the project may be abandoned or indefinitely paused.